What if I told you that the single biggest thing holding you back isn't your talent or your intelligence, but just what you believe about them?
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like a motivational poster, doesn't it?
It does. But today we are deep diving into something that is purely research-driven. This is the work of Dr. Carol S. Dweck.
She's a Stanford psychologist, and her book, Mindset, it's become this foundational text in education, in business, everywhere, really. This isn't about feelings. It's about the actual operating system in your brain.
Exactly. So we've gone through the book, we've looked at the reviews, the analyses, and our mission for you today is pretty simple.
We want to cut through the fluff.
Right. We want to give you the core psychological ideas and, more importantly, how they actually work. The mechanism of change, so you can start using this stuff right away.
Absolutely. It's all about the utility. The core idea is simple, but the consequences of using it are just monumental.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. Dweck introduces this central idea, this duality. She says we all tend to operate from one of two places.
Right. The fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And it's so important to get this. These aren't just, preferences. They are deep, often unconscious beliefs about whether you can change.
Let's unpack the fixed mindset first, because I think a lot of us live there without even realizing it.
Well, the core belief of the fixed mindset is that your abilities are static. They're traits. You're born smart or you're not. You're creative or you're not.
That's it. End of story.
End of story. And so the person living there thinks, if this is hard for me, it must mean I'm just not good enough. So their entire goal becomes about proving how smart they are, not actually getting smarter.
And what does that do to your behavior? I mean, that pressure must be immense.
Oh, it's profound. If your self-worth is tied to an unchangeable trait, then failure is. It's catastrophic.
Of course.
So people in a fixed mindset will actively avoid challenges. Why risk looking stupid? And they take criticism so personally, it's not feedback, it's a verdict on who they are.
So that defensiveness we all feel sometimes, that's the ego's survival mechanism kicking in.
Precisely. Now let's flip that. The growth mindset. How's the internal story different there?
Okay.
Here, the core belief is that abilities can be developed. It's all about effort, good strategies, and learning. The brain is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
I love that metaphor. A muscle. It's not a static thing.
And that one little shift leads to completely different behaviors. People with a growth mindset, they actively seek out challenges because that's how you grow.
Right.
They don't just tolerate failure, they see it as necessary data. It tells them what to do next. And they want feedback because it helps them get better, faster.
The Dweck's research basically shows that this one shift, it changes how you react to literally everything. A setback at work, an argument, learning a new skill.
It's the difference between asking, am I a failure, which just shuts you down, and asking, okay, what did I learn from that, which, opens you up.
Okay, so if that duality is the foundation, then the biggest piece of architecture she builds on top of it is about failure.
Yeah.
I feel like this is where the real aha moments are in the book.
She completely reframes it. In our culture, failure is an identity. For Dweck, it's just an event. It's temporary.
It's not who you are.
Exactly. For the growth mindset, failure just means you haven't mastered it yet. Dweck's most famous idea is that failure means not yet, not never.
That one word, yet, it's so powerful, isn't it? It just completely changes the equation. If you fail a test, you're not bad at math. You're just not good at math yet.
And that forces you to think about process. What's the next step? Imagine a startup founder whose first product launch is a total flop.
Right.
The fixed mindset founder thinks, I'm not cut out for this. My idea was bad. I'm a failure. The growth mindset founder thinks, okay, that didn't work. The market data says X. Our strategy was wrong. What's version 2?
And they get back to work faster because their ego isn't all tangled up in the outcome.
Exactly. Now, this is where it gets really, really practical, especially for parents, for managers, for anyone who leads people.
Right, because Dweck takes on this huge cultural myth, the idea of natural talent.
She doesn't just challenge it. Her research demolishes it. And specifically, how we praise people. We think we're helping when we say, you're so smart, or you're a natural at this.
But her research says that's actually harmful.
Deeply harmful. This is the centerpiece of her work. They did these studies with kids. They gave them some pretty easy puzzles. Afterwards, they praised one group for their intelligence. Wow, you must be really smart.
Okay.
And they praised the other group for their effort. Wow, you must have worked really hard.
Seems like a tiny, tiny difference in wording.
But the results were staggering. When they then offered the kids a choice for the next task, a harder puzzle or another easy one, the smart kids almost all chose the easy one.
Why?
They didn't want to risk failing and losing their smart label. It was too precious. But the hard work kids, they overwhelmingly chose the harder puzzle. They wanted the challenge. They wanted to learn.
Wow.
Yeah.
So praising intelligence actually makes kids less resilient.
It makes them risk averse. But when you praise the process, the effort, the strategy, the persistence, you're reinforcing the things they can actually control.
I have to play devil's advocate for a second, though.
Please do.
Is there a risk here of oversimplifying,
Right.
of just telling people to try harder and ignoring, real systemic barriers, or the fact that, hey, some people just have more natural aptitude for things?
That's a great question, and it's a really important one. Dweck is very clear that it's not just about trying harder, it's about effort plus strategy. The growth mindset isn't about banging your head against a wall, it's about working hard. And when you fail, you don't just try harder, you try differently, you analyze, you adapt your strategy. So yes, talent might give you a head start, but over the long run, the person who combines effort with smart, flexible strategy is the one who wins.
So it's not just motivation.
Yeah.
It's metacognition. It's thinking about your thinking.
Perfectly put. A fixed mindset person practices to prove they're good at what they already know. A growth mindset person practices to get good at what they don't know. That's the whole game.
Which brings us to, I think, the sheer breadth of all this.
Yeah.
This isn't just for the classroom. The book applies this to, the highest levels of achievement.
Oh, yeah. The case studies are fascinating. She talks about CEOs, for instance. A fixed mindset CEO only wants to hire stars, people who are already brilliant.
Right. And then they're probably afraid to challenge them.
Exactly. Because if the star makes a mistake, the whole illusion shatters. It creates this defensive, siloed culture. Contrast that with a growth mindset CEO who hires for curiosity and grit. Their whole company is built around learning from mistakes, not hiding them.
You see the same thing in sports, I'm sure.
Absolutely. It's the athlete who has a terrible game and then immediately goes to watch the tape to see what went wrong versus the one who just sulks and blames the ref.
And even in relationships.
Yeah, that's a big one. The fixed mindset says, we're either compatible or we're not. The growth mindset says, relationships take work. Let's figure out how to solve this problem together. It always boils down to that same distinction. A fixed mindset creates defensive,ness. A growth mindset creates development.
Okay, this brings us to a really important point for you, the listener. The actual experience of consuming this material. Let's talk about the audiobook, since that's how so many of us learn these days.
Right, and we have to set the right expectation here. If you're looking for a high-energy, motivational speaker shouting at you, this is not it.
Not at all.
The narration is very calm, it's academic, it's thoughtful. It feels like you're listening to a professor walking you through her life's work.
So its power isn't in the delivery, it's in the scientific foundation.
Exactly. Its biggest strength is that it's timeless. This isn't some trend. It's based on decades of real psychological research. It's designed for, deep mental rewiring, not a short-term motivational hit.
But there are some warnings that come with that, right? In terms of how you listen to it.
This is the big one. We have to be honest. The book can feel repetitive.
Okay.
Dweck explains the core idea, fixed versus growth, failure, praise, and then she applies that same lens to business, then sports, then parenting, then relationships.
Do you think that's intentional? Or is it just padding?
I'm convinced it's intentional. The goal isn't just for you to know what a fixed mindset is. It's for you to recognize it in your own thoughts, in the moment.
So the repetition is like practice. It's training you to see the pattern everywhere.
That's it. And that leads to the crucial warning.
Yeah.
This requires active listening. This is not a background podcast for when you're multitasking.
Right.
The insights are too subtle. The difference between praising hard work and great results is a tiny shift in language with massive consequences. If you're half listening, you'll miss the whole point.
That is excellent context. So, verdict on the book itself.
It's an essential tool. It's one of those audiobooks that quietly changes you by just fundamentally reprogramming how you think about effort and your own potential.
So who's the ideal audience then?
Students, for sure. Lifelong learners. Any professional who wants real, sustainable growth. And frankly, anyone who feels stuck or is just crippled by that fear of not being good enough.
So at the end of the day, what's the big takeaway for us? The sources all seem to agree that if you apply even just one of these core ideas, things start to shift pretty dramatically.
Your learning speed goes up, your fear of failure goes down, and your confidence becomes stable. And that idea of stable confidence, that's maybe the biggest prize of all.
What do you mean by that?
Well, fragile confidence is built on being smart, The second you struggle, it shatters. But stable confidence is built on your process, on knowing you can rely on your effort and your strategy. That's always within your control, no matter the outcome.
So given that choice between that fragile outcome-based confidence and that stable process-based confidence, we'll leave you with this final thought to take with you.
What is the first small area of your life where you can make this shift?
The very next time you hit a wall, the next time you struggle with something, just notice that voice in your head. And when you hear it say, I'm just bad at this, stop. And intentionally, consciously replace it with, I'm bad at this. Yet. And then ask yourself, what action does that one single word compel you to take next?